Welcome back to part 2 of my achievements challenge. If you haven't seen already, I made a part 1 of this video where I play Animal Crossing until I beat all the achievements within the game, and we're getting back into it with part 2. Day 1, we're starting off strong with Hornsby and Boots already in a fight. I delivered the gift to Boots and they made up. I then went to the airport and decided to write a bunch of letters, specifically only to Hornsby because I didn't bother with changing it. And then I flew over to Harv's Island where I bought a bunch of stuff, went to Katrina for my fortune and she said that my friendships will improve. I then went to the Phototopia to pick out a bunch of outfits for my villagers and one by one I gifted them. Walked my little tushy into the resident services where I spoke to Isabel because I wanted to know what my star rating was and it was at a 2. Okay, first of all, that's really sad. Wasn't I at like 3 for KK Slider at some point? What happened between then and now? On day 2, I decided to change, so I went to my refrigerator, putting on the cute Pikmin outfit. Walking around my island, I noticed that Rosie was sitting down. My villagers don't normally interact with things that I put down, so this was a big thing for me. Went to the museum where I had some coffee until Cap'n walked in. I was thinking before this that I wanted to go on a Cap'n Island, and this was just like the perfect sign to go, so I did. Went around collecting resources, caught myself a bunch of fish, and actually this month of February, I'm trying to catch the coelacanth. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I don't know how to say this ancient fish, okay? But try as I might, I did not catch it and I was very sad. You can only catch it when it's raining or snowing. So yeah, I was kind of bummed out. But then I decided to take it out on the sea bass and yeah. I went around cutting a bunch of trees on my island because I had a hard time shaking down items from trees. So I needed to minimize it. It made sense in my brain and it does help me later on. So I'm glad I did this. On day 3, the lovely KK Slider was here. I decided to hit up my Able Sisters shop because I don't normally go in there. Did a little shopping, said hi to Sable, went around shaking my trees and got stung. Good time. Again, going back to the whole shaking down items from the trees, I noticed that a lot of my trees were just scattered around my island, so I replaced them with fruit trees instead. Skipping to nighttime, I went straight to KK Slider and he played KK Country. I had a blast. I normally do because these are my favorite events now, just to go see KK Slider perform. Sadly, no one was there again. Nook, you said you were his biggest fan. Where are you? On day 4, Daisy Mae is back on my island. I went around doing my dailies, noticed that Boots had a thought bubble, and apparently he wanted to give me a nickname. This was exciting because this was my first nickname ever, and he decided to crown me with the name Vitamin P. I was honored. I mean, it's not the best name, but like, it warmed my heart knowing he wanted to give me a nickname, so it was cute. Continued on to do my dailies, and it was time for the snowman, because I was one away from completing the achievement, but then I was so close. So close, I missed it. Yeah, I proceeded to beat up the snowman. It was well-deserved, okay? He's fine. A little concussion, it's fine though, okay? Spoke to Daisy Mae. Her prices were too spicy, so I said no thank you. Rosie wanted to sell me something. I don't even know what it was at the time. I just bought it. Went around catching fish, but ooh-wee, lucky me, my game crashed. Thank you. I really needed that. On day 5, Isabel announced that Red was on my island. Of course, I went on his boat to buy a little art piece, donated some fossils, had myself some coffee, caught myself this blue marlin. It's no biggie. Its fate was in my hands now. I decided to cook it up. Went to a Cap'n Island where I found these carrots. Interesting. I'm trying to find these really cool islands on Cap'n Islands, but so far I haven't found anything interesting. Flew over to Harv's Island where I bought a bunch of stuff again. Spoke to Katrina and wanted to talk about my friendship for the first time with Freckles. Luckily, Freckles likes me, which thank God. I think I would be heartbroken if she didn't. But just to be sure, I wanted to boost our friendship a little bit. Is this wrong? Am I brainwashing her? Went into the Phototopia to pick out a new outfit for Freckles, and then I gifted it to her because I just wanted to solidify our friendship even more. On day 6, Kix was on my island, so I bought a pair of socks, checked the notice board, and noticed that the Festivale was soon. That's exciting. I found this lost item, asked Hornsby if it was his because he was just conveniently there, but then he told me it was Ketchup's. Went to resident services to speak to Isabel again to ask about my star rating. It was still a 2. Come on, Isabel. Let me have a 3 at least. I then scooted chairs to Nook to talk to Rosie about moving her house, just to get her off the beach at least. I think she's been there since like day 1. Poor girl, she deserves a better home than that. Fixed up my river, placed Rosie's house down. Hornsby came up to me to give me a gift, and then I went to Cap'n for another island tour, and this time it was a tropical island. Went to my mailbox to collect all my gifts, went to the museum where I donated my painting, and then I had a little coffee. I really don't like coffee, but I'm just doing it for the achievement. But before I could leave, Brewster wanted to thank me for being a Patreon, so he gave me some coffee beans. Thanks. Went to the Able Sisters to get a new outfit, said hi to Sable again, used the custom design portal to just get this quilt, and then I ended my day. On to day 7, Isabel announced the festival would be on the 12th. Went around my island, found Sahara, and bought some rugs from her. I wanted to test out what the wallpapers and flooring looked like till someone knocked on my door. Luckily, it was just Henry. He just wanted to play high card, low card, and then made this interesting comment about the desk reminding him of school. Luckily for you, my guy, this is a school, so welcome. Went to the back of my my island where I removed a bunch of stumps because they were kind of annoying. Went back to my river to fix it just a little bit more. Placed some path down. Noticed that Ketchup had a thought bubble. Excuse me. But she just wanted to sell me a shirt, which, whatever. I have so much money, I don't really care at this point. Went to the back of my island again to plant a bunch of fruit trees because I needed to unlock this one achievement where I had to sell a bunch of fruits. And then Hornsby had a thought bubble where he wanted to sell me something too. What is up with my villagers wanting to sell me stuff? Alright, so hear me out. At this point of the video, I was thinking, I don't like how much space my roads are taking up on my island. I feel like I can't build any more things without it taking up like literally every inch. So I decided to reduce the size of my road, and I'm still in the process of trying to fix all my roads and stuff, but I gotta say it helps a lot, especially with like wanting to build more things. So I'm glad I did this, but yeah, this took a long time. On day 8, I went around doing my dailies, scooted the post office over. Benjamin had a thought bubble and apparently he and Freckles had a fight, so I delivered the gift to her. They made up. I still can't get over the tuna she has in her house. Why is that there? Rosie came up to me when I was building and she had a present for me. It was this cute lamp, which fitting, and because I had enough room next to the post office, I built myself a bus stop. I do plan on using the pipes to get around my island, so, and sadly, I did go to my water park and destroy it. While I do really like it, I thought it took up too much space and I really had to just reorganize everything in the layout of my island, so it kind of had to go. I put the soccer field next to my house instead, and there was also this awkward space between the flower garden and the main entrance, so I built myself a small walking path just to get around my island easier. Day 9, and there was finally Campsite Villager. Before I went to see them, I bought some human remains from the Nook's Cranny. And finally, I built my perfect snowman where I unlocked the achievement, Snow Maestro. I was going around my island doing my dailies until I noticed that some of my villagers were actually working out. So I took this initiative to go work out with them. Except that Boots wasn't there. Excuse me, sir. Aren't you a jock? Don't you love this? Fixed up my main entrance pathing until I went to the campsite to see who it was. It was Lobo. I don't see Lobo often, so he's very cute. And if my circumstances were different, I would definitely take him. Fixed up more of my road path, built a bridge connecting to the campsite, and because again, I was planning on making my road shorter, that meant I had to scoot up my neighborhood forward. So I was planning where my houses were gonna go with egg pathing. And I also wanted to centralize my buildings. I didn't like how the houses were too far to the right. For the first house of the neighborhood, I put Bella's house. I know I'm not gonna keep her. I just have in mind that Sid's gonna go there, so pre-planning. Day 10, it was the Lunar New Year, which still happens to be Stitch's birthday too. I went over to his house, gifted him a little chair. I was in the middle of building a snowman until I realized I did not need to do that anymore. So I just decided to build a little guy with a little head. It did make me laugh in real life, and it still makes me laugh now. Went fishing and caught a bunch of fish. Skipped a nighttime where I went to the resident services again to speak to Tom Nook to move Hornsby's house. And when I went back to KK Cider to have a little performance, I noticed that a bunch of my villagers were finally sitting down. Yes, I had a blast, and I'm so happy that my villagers finally to listen. It made me so happy. And to end off my day, I went to another cabin island and just gathered more resources. Day 11 was a bit of a short one, but Daisy May was visiting, so I decided to buy some turnips, not to sell them, but just to have them to eat. I kind of overestimated how many turnips she gives you, so I had just like hundreds in my pocket. Yeah, I'm definitely just gonna buy a stack of 10 next time. I was doing my dailies until I noticed that Stitches had a thought bubble. He just wanted to gift me something. Actually, it was more like him trying to get money off of me. And yeah, that basically sums up day 11. Day 12 is party time. It is the Festivale. It is so interesting to see my villagers all dressed up in cute outfits to dance. I met up with Pave, and he tasked me with changing my outfit because it was kind of uggo. Thanks, Pave. Love that. And while I was doing my clothes shopping, I said hi to Sable again. I wanted to get close to her so she could give me some custom patterns. And then another thing that Pave wants you to do is to go around and collect some feathers. If you catch a multicolored feather, then he gives you items. So I did that a few times before deciding to just dance and throw confetti at my villagers. And then suddenly, I saw a standoff between two dung beetles. Excuse me? I was kind of entertained. I'd never seen two of them go at it like this before. On to day 13, I went to the Able Sisters to buy myself a new outfit, which honestly, she cute. Obviously said hi to Sable, grabbed all my fossils and donated them to Blathers. Had a little sippy of coffee. Brewster offered some pigeon milk and went back over to the neighborhood to plan out the next house. Spoke to Tom Nook about moving Rosie over. That's the second time, girl. I still think about you. I didn't forget. And dug up all my vegetables to move them to the back of my island. I noticed that Henry and Goldie were having a conversation about breakfast and when the appropriate time or what was considered breakfast in the morning. And I kind of agree with Goldie about like how anything you eat in the morning is still considered breakfast. Like sure, you can have your eggs and toast and bacon, but like you could also have that at dinner time. So, you know, it's just the time of day that you eat it at. I'm just in agreement with Goldie here, okay? I extended my road path, zhuzhed it a tiny bit. Boots grabbed my attention and wanted me to buy his dinner table bill off of him, which sure, again, I got all the money in the world. On day 14, while Gulliver was washed up ashore, that wasn't important because today was technically Valentine's Day. Animal Crossing doesn't really celebrate Valentine's Day except for like the postcards or the items you could get at the Nook stop. So I thought the appropriate response to this was to just send a bunch of love letters to my villagers. Eventually, I did meet up with Gulliver and helped him out getting his parts back. Ran into Henry with a thought bubble and the audacity on that frog to ask to move away. Was this because I disagreed with your opinion about breakfast? I spoke to Tom Nook to move Benjamin's house into the neighborhood, went to Cap'n for another island tour, caught myself a bunch of fish, yet sadly, no dino fish. Day 15, we had a campsite villager, went to my neighborhood to whip out the island designer, and started getting to work on Rosie's and Benjamin's yards, and then I skedaddled to the campsite villager to notice that it was Tom, and not to be confused with Tom Nook. This is slowly becoming a pattern where Hornsby gets in a fight with someone, and it was Henry this time. But anyways, I decided to deliver the gift. I finished decorating Benjamin's front yard, put some path down in Rosie's, and then I skipped to nighttime. I don't have any Nook Mile tickets, so I had to go print some out, but the reason why I'm doing this is because I wanted to get a tarantula or a scorpion island. One of my goals was to get stung by one, and also I had to donate one to Blathers, so I hopped island to island to find this 2% chance hybrid island of tarantulas or scorpions. Yeah, I didn't find it. On day 16, I stood outside the Nook's cranny to watch it open, went to Goldie's yard to finish it off, visited Red to buy some artwork from him, skipped to nighttime, where I bought myself more tickets again, find the scorpions, but sadly I did not find them. And because I was relying so much on buying my own tickets, I couldn't handle just purchasing them one by one, so I kind of went to a no-no island and gathered a bunch. Is this considered cheating? I'm gonna say no. Day 17, it's another lovely Saturday for KK Slider to perform. Went to the museum where I donated a bunch of fossils, had some coffee, skipped to nighttime where I went and visited KK Slider. I guess my villagers sitting down to listen to KK Slider perform was a one-in-a-lifetime situation because they weren't there. No one was there but me. Went to Harv's Island to pay off Lloyd for Flick, mostly because I felt bad that he was the only one left that I had and I just didn't bother with him. We're on to day 18 where Isabel announced that Daisy May was back on my island. Doing my dailies, I noticed that some ants were surrounding my turnips, which was nice because I did need an ant. Noticed that my villagers were sitting down by the resident services, so I decided to disturb their peace and work out with them. Went and donated the ant to Blathers, had some coffee, spoke to Daisy May. Her turnips again were too expensive, so I decided, no thank you. Flew over to Harv's Island where I spoke to Kix, and then I went back home to plant a bunch of flowers until I unlocked the achievement Flower Power. Day 19, and it was Freckles' birthday today. Kix was actually visiting my island, so I just bought some booties, shook my trees, and got stung. Went back to Isabel to ask about my star rating, and I had a 4-star. I visited Freckles and gave her her birthday gift, and shortly after a bit of celebration, I decided to end the game. Moving on to day 20, I collected a bunch of gifts, went shopping at the Nook's cranny, watered my flowers until I unlocked the achievement, Flower Tender, spoke to Ketchup because she thought her house was uggo. Also, girl, I thought we established this in the first part. Remind me to decorate Ketchup's house next. We played high card, low card together and I won. Grabbed all my gyroid fragments and planted them and watered them. Bella came up to me and had a present for me, which is strange because I don't really talk to her, I just kind of ignore her, so I don't know why she's trying to buy my friendship like I do with everyone else on the island. Went to the resident service just to work out with everyone, and I noticed that Goldie was wearing the outfit I gave her. That made me so happy. Boots was also sick, so I decided to give him some medicine for him to get better. Tried my luck again to find the Scorpion Island, and to my surprise, after like about 50 tickets, I actually did find the Scorpion Island. Very exciting. Luckily, you guys told me in my first part video that the tarantulas won't harm you unless you have a net in your hand, so as soon as I pulled one out, they stung me. I should have seen that coming, and honestly, it's kind of terrifying, but because I had to get stung by one, I unlocked the achievement Faint of Heart. I also caught some extras too to donate to Blathers. During this entire challenge, I tried so hard to get a balloon to fly over water, and on day 21, it finally happened. I unlocked the achievement Lost Treasure. Going back to my gyroid farm, I dug them up. My rock band is slowly multiplying. Went to the resident services where I spoke to Isabel to ask about my star rating, and I had a 5-star. Finally, I have a 5-star rating. And because of this, she gave me the DIY recipe for the golden watering can. Of course, I crafted one up, and then immediately went to my flower field to dig them up and throw them out. I knew I was going to lose my star rating, but I just wanted that DIY recipe. It took a long time to dig them all up, but honestly, I wasn't into the roses, so I'm just glad I did it as soon as I did. Otherwise, they probably would have bred like crazy, because I do have the beautiful ordnance on. On day 22, we had a campsite villager. I went straight to the campsite and found out that it was Groucho. Went to Harv's Island to buy a bunch of produce from Leaf, quickly planted them all, and that unlocked me the Sprout Out Loud achievement. I visited Tom Nook again to ask about moving a villager's house. This time around, it was Stitches. I placed his house down, edited the path between Goldie's house and Stitch's house, skipped to day 23 where I whipped out the Island Designer app, fixed up Stitch's house, spoke to Tom Nook about moving Freckles' house next to Stitch's, took all my fossils from my storage to donate them to Blathers. As soon as I went outside, Ketchup had a thought bubble, and she wanted me to buy her hot dog costume off of her. Which sure. Thank you, Ketchup, for for the outfit, very iconic. Went back to the museum where I bought some coffee from Brewster. Visited the Able sisters again to talk to Sable, and that's the most she's talked to me. She's starting to warm up. Went outside resident services to work out, and then I went inside the airport to send a bunch of letters. Also, did you know there's apparently a maximum amount of letters you can send? I don't know what the limit is. I didn't check. I was just trying to unlock my achievement, but it sort of does make sense that Orville is telling me to stop because I'm just basically sending a bunch of letters to Hornsby. Day 24, KK Slider is back on my island. I went to Freckles' house and finished it off. Spoke to Ketchup about moving her house next to Freckles. Skipped to nighttime where I attended KK Slider's concert, and wouldn't you know, my villagers started to join me. Of course, we jammed out together until I noticed that more of my villagers started to come. Are you guys kidding me? This was the happiest day of my life. I got to sit next to Benjamin. And yeah, we had a bit of a concert celebrating. It was fun. Day 25 and the snow has finally left. Isabella announced that Daisy May was back. Benjamin had a thought bubble over his head wanting to move, and so I decided that this would be the best opportunity to test out the thought bubble skipping between villager to villager. It didn't work. At least not for me because I didn't do it properly. So then I quickly lost the thought bubble. Met up with Daisy May and bought some turnips from her since her pricing was just 97 bells. Went on a Cap'n Island, found myself some sugar cane. I took them home with me and planted them. And I think that's the last vegetable you can have in the game, so that's cool. I have the whole collection. Day 26 is also a short day. I went to Timmy and Tommy to check out the turnip price and it was 71 bells in the morning. Spoke to Tom Nook about moving Henry's house. Skipped to nighttime again to check in the bell price and it was 64 bells this time. Day 27 was Rosie's birthday. Before I went to give her her gift, I went to Timmy and Tommy and checked the bell price. It was 111 bells. Placed down Henry's house. Met up with Gullivar again. Did a little oogie boogie before diving to find his little communicator part. It's been a while since I dived, so I kind of enjoyed this. I gave his part back to him. Went on a Cap'n Island to find myself another tropical island. Gathered resources. Went back home to go fishing since it was raining. And holy heck, my luck is just, oh, thank you Animal Crossing gods. Oh. Never mind. Psych! Just joking. I found the dino fish. Blast from the past. I do a little dance. I'm pretty sure this fish is the hardest fish to catch in the game, if not one of the hardest fish to catch. So you can bet your little tootsies I was very proud of myself for catching this monstrous, scary looking fish. Celebrated by torturing myself with some coffee. Went to Harv's Island to the Phototopia to pick out a new outfit for Rosie. Gifted her said present. Skipping to nighttime, I visited Timmy and Tommy again to check on the bill price, and it was 133 bells. I was still using the turnip calculator thing, and it said that today was the last good day to sell the turnips. On day 28, I forced my villagers to work out with me, filled up my river to make another one, and then I ended the day by finishing off Ketchup's yard. Day 29, the last day of this month. I went to see Kix to buy some shoes off of him, continued building my river, decorated Freckles' front yard, spoke to Tom Nook about moving Boots' house next over, placed his house down. A part of my dailies is picking up clams and selling them, and on this very day, I unlocked the achievement, Go Ahead and Be Selfish. Workout celebration. And well guys, with that is the end of part 2. During this month of February, I unlocked 7 achievements out of the 96, which puts me at 47 completed. I didn't do as well as the last month, but that's to be expected since I'm getting into the harder achievements to accomplish. Overall, I'm happy where I'm at in my game, so thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If it's your birthday today, happy birthday, and if it's not your birthday today, happy day. I will see you guys in part 3. So love y'all, take care, have a good one, bye bye!